the most exciting, well, one of the most exciting fixtures on the Bundesliga schedule year in and year out. Borussia Dortmund and Bayern Munich. We're going to preview this game as concisely as we can because we're already, I believe, half an hour on, and we don't want the show to be overly long. But this match has everything necessary. It's got the both teams at top of the table. It's got, if one team wins, the table may be over. It's got both teams scorching hot. The first thing that I will ask you, gentlemen, Bayern currently 4 points clear of Dortmund. Dortmund is maybe in their best form all year, but if Bayern come out and record 3 points and make that a 7-point gap without any more direct games to be played against each other, can we call the league over? Can we say that the table is finished, Bayern wins, and then Dortmund fights for second? Or is there maybe a chance to be made for Dortmund even if they do lose on Tuesday?
Look, I don't know. I think that it's arguably over if Dortmund doesn't take 3 points, and that could be considered a hot take, but I don't think it is, just because of the quality that Bayern has. Because even though they have a tough schedule ahead, Leverkusen, Gladbach, Freiburg, and Wolfsburg, who all are going to be gunning for European places and won't be a walk in the park. But I think that if the lead is extended to it's still at 4 points, that means you got to expect Bayern to lose twice in 6 games, which is just something that Bayern really has never done. Now, if Bayern goes on and takes 3 points, I think that it's absolutely over. You would need a collapse of epic proportions for that to give Dortmund a chance.
Yeah, if it's a draw, Dortmund will technically stay in it, but I don't see them getting back, even if it is 4 points. But if Bayern gets a dub here, goes 7 points up, as the legend and Hall of Famer Vince Carter said, future Hall of Famer, I should say, it's over, son. 6 games left after this one. Yeah, like Banks just said, you expect them to take 2 losses. And even if Bayern goes 4-1-1 in these last 6 matches and Dortmund wins out the rest of their matches, Bayern still wins on goal differential. They'd be tied on points at the end of the season. Bayern has an 11-plus goal differential, so Dortmund would have to be thrashing teams left and right in order to get that done. So, yeah, if Bayern gets the 3 points here, it's done and dusted.
Yeah, it stinks to say because, like, this is the league that has been the closest from top to, say, 5 or 6. It stinks to say that this match may be the unofficial nail in the coffin of Borussia Dortmund as far as the title chase goes. But I think when you look at it from that perspective, it's got to be the case. I mean, Bayern, the best team on Bayern's schedule after this match, table-wise, is Leverkusen. They don't have to play Dortmund again. They don't have to play Leipzig. They get Leverkusen, Gladbach, and then I guess the next best team is Freiburg, who's mid-table. So not a daunting task for Bayern to overcome. Even if Dortmund do take the 3 points, they're still a point back of Bayern, and it's very tough to look at Bayern's upcoming schedule and see anywhere where they are almost definitively going to drop points, at least 50 or 60% shot. Any points dropped against Leverkusen or Gladbach would come as a shock, I think it's fair to say. So even if Dortmund take 3 points, it may be not easy, but it may be indicative of saying maybe this table is over. I'm on the record saying I think Bayern is the best team in Europe this year, and I don't think that will change. I don't think that they're a lock to win this match, but we'll get into that in a little bit. Key players for this match, gentlemen, because both of these teams are red hot, but they're also both missing some pieces, or at least from last weekend. So who are you looking at to make the big impact in this Bayern-Dortmund match?
Yeah, I'm going to shy away from the big names and the obvious names of Erling Haaland and Robert Lewandowski, who do all the goal scoring. I'm going to go to the defensive side of the ball, and I'm going to go with Dortmund's entire back three. Their defense has been insane recently, even before the pandemic in these last two. The last 6 matches, they've only given up 1 goal in 6 matches. So Berkey and this back three of Hummels, Piszczek, and Ankaji have done an insane job. And they were tested in those 30-minute spells that Wolfsburg had in the past weekend, but they stood tall. Hummels has a bit of a foot problem. They took him out at halftime, so I expect him to be fully rested. He may be not 100%, but he's definitely going to be in this lineup tomorrow. But I'm looking at those 3 to make an impact here. Try to slow down Lewandowski. Try to slow down Serge Gnabry, to guys like Thomas Müller, all these attacking guys. Because Bayern's going to be pumping all 90 minutes. They're going to be ripping shots on net. So Berkey's going to be tested early and often. His defense is going to be tested early and often. I'm looking forward to this Dortmund back line taking on that attacking front of Bayern.
I think that's a good point. I'm going with Thomas Muller because I think Thomas Muller at the same time is the most overrated and underrated player in world football. I think at the same exact time. Because when you think about Thomas Muller, you think about an overhyped player that's 3 or 4 years past his peak, and you don't understand why he's still in the Bayern team. And then when you watch Bayern play, you realize not only how integral he is to the team's build-up play and how good of a finisher he is, he's got 17 assists this campaign in the Bundesliga, and he's key to everything. And when you look at Dortmund, even Andrew mentioned Thomas Muller's name as an afterthought. Not that it's wrong, but it's because you have Robert Lewandowski, and you have Serge Gnabry, and you have even players in midfield to worry about when they have the ball, that Thomas Muller is going to slip your mind and he's not going to attract as much attention. And he's someone, especially with Dortmund, doesn't have the strongest back line. When they have a back three, you're going to tend to cover a lot. And that's when you have pace on the wings like Dortmund has, and you have Alphonso Davies overlapping runs. You're going to be so worried about where the ball's coming from crosses, and then Robert Lewandowski right in the middle, that Thomas Muller is just going to slip your mind, and he's going to have a chance or two to put the ball in the back of the net in this game. He's going to be huge because if he shows up, I think it's Bayern 3 points.
Yeah, that's a solid point. I think the guys that I'm looking at, Andrew, you mentioned the back line for Borussia Dortmund. I'm going to go with the guys that play a little bit further up. I'm going to go with Bayern's wing, fullbacks, whatever you want to call that duo, Achraf Hakimi and Rafael Guerreiro. Guerreiro has been red hot since play resumed. He scored in each of the Dortmund's 2 matches against Schalke and against Wolfsburg. He's gotten on the score sheet in both of those games, and we know what Achraf Hakimi does. Maybe already one of the best right backs in Europe, on the planet. Is expected, a side note, to return to Real Madrid in the summer. The agent has said that we're going to go back. So this could be one of his last matches with Borussia Dortmund. One of the brightest, youngest attacking fullbacks in the game. And when you look at Bayern, now this is not necessarily a flaw in their game because they tend to cover it really well with, if Kimmich is playing as a defensive midfielder, he can easily drop back into his right back role where he started as. Obviously, David Alaba is going to start at center back, but he can shift over and play left back if he has to, if Alphonso Davies is too far up the pitch. But with Bayern, Davies and Pavard at fullback positions are going to be up the pitch. They are going to be up as like ancillary wingers territory. That's how high up they're going to play. There will be space on the wings for Guerreiro and for Hakimi to expose. Now, there may not be much because, like I said, Kimmich and Alaba can easily shift back and occupy those wing spaces against the sideline. But if Hakimi and if Guerreiro can get into that space, expose those wings, and whip balls into Haaland in the box, to somebody like Torgan Hazard, Julian Brandt at the edge of the 18, I think there's a significant goal-scoring potential for Borussia Dortmund. We say that about them every single week. They are one of the best goal-scoring teams in Germany, in Europe. But I think there is a lot of space to be had on the edges of the area, on the wings, if Davies and if Pavard are going to be well up the pitch like they typically are. And if those two dudes can expose that may be one of the best fullback duos in Europe, take away Liverpool. So I think that is going to be crucial if Dortmund are going to come away with 3 points or at least one. You're not going to be able to attack through the middle, through the central channel, and expect to take anything out of this game. We've talked about the players and the implications and everything. Let's get down to it. Gentlemen, Dortmund, Bayern, potentially the title decider. Who do you have coming on top, if anyone?
2 massive clubs, maybe the fixture of quarantine, I guess you could say, of coronavirus. This is the whole build-out that we've been waiting for here, at least with the Bundesliga. This is selfish of me to say, but I want to see a title race in the last 6 matches. So give me Dortmund 3-2.
Wow.
This is what I want to see. I want to see Borussia Dortmund play with the desperation that their hopes for this campaign are on the line. Because realistically, if they don't win this match, they don't have much else to look forward to for the rest of the campaign, which is just manhandling second place by fending off Leipzig, Leverkusen, Gladbach. I think that in these situations, as we've seen, the team with more talent prevails. And I think Bayern Munich is going to find a way to get this done. Bayern Munich 3-1.
As we've seen in the past 2 weeks, everything Dortmund there's an old saying, gentlemen, everything Dortmund does, Bayern does better. That's actually written in scripture. It's a real thing. I didn't just say that. We talk a lot about Dortmund's attack, at least since the restart. Bayern's has been the best in the league. We talk about Dortmund's attacking fullbacks. Bayern's are arguably better. Alphonso Davies last weekend played one of his best matches in a Bayern kit against Frankfurt.
It was phenomenal.
He was phenomenal. Goal and assist, 2 key passes, one of the best. I think he won almost every single duel he went in for. Exceptional at left back for Bayern against Frankfurt. I'm on the record. I've said this already. I'm on the record saying they're the best team in Europe. I've consistently gone back to that statement ever since that 7-1, 7-2 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I was like, this team is legit. I don't think I'm shocking anybody by saying that. I think Bayern's the best team in Europe. As much as I agree with you, Andrew, and as much as I would like to see a title race here, I don't think there's one to be had just with Bayern's quality. They are so good. They haven't skipped a beat. And I just think I agree with Banks. I think Bayern is going to come out on top on this one. I'm going to say 4-2. I think there are going to be a few more goals than in your prediction, Banks, just because these two teams flood forward. They haven't slowed down at all in the goal-scoring department. I'm a little bit questionable still on Dortmund's back line, despite their incredible record recently. I don't know what they're going to be able to do against Bayern's attacking trio, especially if they play their full 11, because they didn't play Gnabry over the weekend, and that was much to the despair of you, Banks, but he will definitely be playing in this Dortmund game. Also, an interesting name to watch, Jadon Sancho has come off the bench in each of the last 2 matches. If he's, I would say, 70% healthy, he doesn't even have to be fully fit, I think we very well could see him start in this game against Bayern Munich. I believe that's all the preview we're going to touch on today before this show runs an hour and a half. Anything else you guys want to touch on with this crucial fixture before we sign off?
I have 2 things. One, a betting little tip for you guys. Smash the over in this game. Last 6 matches, 4 goals, 5 goals, 5 goals, 6 goals, 4 goals, 5 goals. So over smash the over. Yeah, well, that's an easy over right there. And 2, Banks touched on it a little bit. He wants to see Dortmund play desperately here in this one, like they absolutely need it. If this game is tied late, Dortmund go all out attack. Go for it. Don't waste it. Don't settle for the draw and try to get it done. Go for it. Go for the dub. If you go out there and lose, at least you gave a valiant effort. But I want to see them just flood stuff forward. I want to see Haaland get 20 shots off in the last 10 minutes alone. Let's go.
One thing I will give the Bundesliga credit for, too, quickly, is that think about in other leagues like the Premier League, for example, 2 big teams can play an extremely boring game. True. When 2 great teams in the Bundesliga play, even we saw Leverkusen Gladbach was a wildly entertaining affair. This game on Tuesday, even if it ends 1-1, it will be entertaining. And that, obviously, there's no atmosphere to reinforce that point, but this will be a great game of football.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we've said it a million times. This is the biggest game on the Bundesliga slate. Just because there's no fans or even cardboard cutouts of fans doesn't mean that it's going to be fun to watch. We've seen, I think every single match so far involving these 2 clubs has been thrilling, has it not? I mean, except for maybe Dortmund-Wolfsburg, but Bayern, Eintracht Frankfurt was great. Bayern, Union Berlin was really good, and then Dortmund-Schalke was unbelievable. A great way to start this restart with the Revier Derby and a Berlin Derby and now their Klassiker is going to be electric. We're going to have content on this on our social media, on our blog, potentially on our YouTube/Vimeo. So keep an eye on all of that. That is going to do it for our show today, for our preview/review show. Thank you so much for watching. If you're not following us on Twitter yet, please do, at London's Finest QU. We're active all 7 days of the week, and we're going to be a lot more active these next coming days with this match and just with another match week, midweek match week coming up. We're going to be very, very active on our social media. Check out our blog, stoppagetimequ.weebly.com. It's been scrolling across the bottom of your screen all show. It's also in the bio of our Twitter page. We're going to have a lot of content coming out there, just things, certain topics around Europe, around the world, to talk about player breakdowns. Banks did an awesome analysis video on Mönchengladbach from a couple weeks ago, stuff like that. So check it out there. We do these shows every single weekday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We'll hop on a Zoom call, talk about the biggest headlines in the sport, talk about the biggest matches in the sport like we did today. I think tomorrow's going to be a little bit different. Tomorrow's show may be a little bit later than 3 p.m. We're trying potentially to make it just a straight Dortmund-Bayern review show. So that'll probably be up later around 5:30, a little bit later than usual, but we think it'll definitely be worth it for you guys watching. For Andrew Myers and Jonathan Banks, my name is Will Fowler. Have a great rest of your Monday.